Hi everyone, it's Fran at Village Dry Goods, and we'd like to welcome you to our summer block of the week for 2019. This year we're going to be making 12.5-inch blocks with a sawtooth border all around all of them and a different center. So we're going to teach you some different tips, techniques, and hopefully have a little bit of fun while we're at it. So thanks for joining us. So this very first block is really going to be a very simple one for us to do. What you're going to do is you are going to take from your cream piece, which you have a 2 by 21-ish length piece. It's actually 2 by half the width, so 21.5 inch. You're going to take that piece and you're going to trim it down to 1 1/4 inches. Then you are going to cut two 5 1/4 inch pieces by 1 1/4. You're going to cut two 5 1/4 inch pieces from both your gold and your navy, and you're going to put those two pieces together and you're going to strip piece them. We like to strip piece because then it's a lot more accurate and a lot less seams, a lot less waste thread. So once I have these both pieces sewn together, just like so, I am now going to take my rotary cutter with a brand new blade in it, and I'm going to cut those into 1 1/4 inch by 2 inch sections. We need 4 of those of each color. Now I'm going to cut the gold and the navy pieces that I've cut at 1 1/4 by 2 3/4. These are all slightly oversized so that when we trim them up, we have enough to make our exact sizes. Again, I am going to strip piece those, do my sewing, open it out, and I'm going to trim it to two 2 by 1 1/4 inch pieces. I'm going to flip those two pieces around. Now pretend that these are the same gold and blues, and I'm going to make a 4 patch from this unit. From these units, I'm also going to make 4 patches. So you need 2 of each colorway. So you'll have 2 golden creams and 2 blues and creams. So now I have all of my 4 patches sewn together. Now if you look on your pattern, you'll see that there is a design. You need to make sure that your gold pieces are all going in an X and your navy blue pieces will all be going in an X. I'm sure you all know about the spin trick in the center, but let me just show you. Once we've made our 4 patches, we're going to take this, we've got these seams all nicely pressed, and we're going to give it the spin trick. I'm going to hold on to both sides and I'm just going to pop this seam in the center, and if it doesn't come all the way open, you just take your seam ripper and you just remove a couple of those stitches. Voila! Now you have that all nice and opened, and you have another little 4 patch in the center. Now I'm going to take my 2 1 1/4 by 2 inch pieces of cream, and I'm going to stitch it onto both sides. There's part of my center section. Now I'm going to take my other 2 1 1/4 by 2 inch cream pieces with my 1 1/4 gold and navy, and I'm going to sew these on. Now if you look, I've got these going in opposite directions here. It doesn't really matter. If you sew them both on the same side to begin with here, that's okay, because once we have them sewn, I can now turn those guys around, because when you sew them together, you do want them in opposite corners. So now we're going to take those and we're going to sew those two onto our center section. Just like this. This makes the very, very center of our 6 1/2 inch block. We're going to trim our block piece to 6 inches. We are going to trim our cream piece down to 4 1/2 inches. Using our video from our new method, you're going to make the flying geese units. So you're going to draw a line from corner to corner on your cream piece. I just eyeball mine, have it kind of centered in there, and you're going to sew on both sides of this line. You don't have enough fabric in your kits to do these flying geese units the old-fashioned way. I mean by the rectangle and the 2 squares. You do have enough fabric to do any method of no waste flying geese triangle units. But I want you to try this new method. There are several rulers that you can use for this, or you can use your regular rulers. Now, if you use your regular ruler, you have a lot more points that you have to be really aware of. Okay, so this unit here is going to finish at a 1.5 by 3 inch section. Now I'm using one of my favorite Creative Grids rulers, and if you'll notice when I have trimmed this off, I very carefully made sure when I do my 1/4 inch, I'm not going to chop those points off too badly. I've got a 1/4 inch at the top of my geese and on both sides. So just be kind of careful. You may have to fudge just a skosh, but you can use your regular rulers. Now I'm going to show you one of our very favorite rulers for making these flying geese units. Perfect every single time. I'm going to take, because I said this is going to finish at 1.5 by 3 inches, I'm going to line up the letter C right along my flying geese. I'm going to trim 2 sides, and then I'm going to rotate this. I would use my rotating mat on here. You're going to pretend that this is trimmed on those 2 sides that are over here and at the bottom. Now I'm going to again lay that C triangle right into here. I'm going to trim this piece, and I'm going to trim this piece. I'm going to do that on all 4 pieces, and when I am done, I have 4 perfect flying geese units. The other ruler, that we really like is the wing clipper ruler. Again, you can do the very same thing using this ruler. So whichever ruler you have, please get them out and use them. On this ruler, this is the unfinished size. So see, now I have a 3.5 by 2 that I'm going to trim. Same thing, only remember, if you're switching back and forth between rulers, this is an unfinished size. Creative Grids is marked with the finish. Again, I'm going to trim these 2 sides, rotate my ruler, come back around, and I am going to trim off my other 2 sides, here and here. And that's how you're going to make all 4 of your flying geese units. Now, once I have those flying geese units all finished, I am going to put together my block. Now pretend that our seams are all gone. So we've got this in here. We've got our flying geese. Now, you remember I told you we're making an X. So when you sew these 4 patches on, you're going to have your navy blue ones in one side going completely across, and you're going to have your gold ones. And I apologize, we don't have a set of gold ones, but just pretend. And these are going to go in so that they are touching and coming down again. That's going to complete your 6.5 inch center. Again, refer back to our original video for the flying geese to make the 12.5 inch square. Those blocks are going to finish at 3.5 by 6.5 inch to make the outside of your 12.5 inch block. Here is your very first village block of the week for 2019, 12.5 inch. We're going to call these our sawtooth stars with a fun different twist on the centers. Thank you.